Are you currently living paycheck to paycheck and wonder how you can save up more money with this high inflation and the cost of living that has increased massively in the last couple of years? Well, today I will share with you how I personally saved up more than half of my total income last year and how you can too.
Yeah, boy.
So you will find many different money saving tips to help you, and at the end of the video I will share with you my personal budget template which helped me to track my different expenses versus my total income. The first saving tips that I'm currently applying to increase my saving rate is to stop going out too much. As young adults, many loves to go to the clubs and to the bars to have fun with their friends on the weekend. I wasn't an exception to the rule. I had a lot of fun during my younger age where I went to a lot of different parties and clubs to spend a lot of money and have fun with my friends. However, as I am getting older, I'm realizing that going out every weekend is not really a well sustainable option for me. In fact, going to the club could cost you not only a lot of money but could also cost you a certain part of your health. Because being drunk every weekend is not necessarily a great option. Especially when you're young and that you have a lot of energy, going to the clubs and to the bars could be very entertaining for you, and buying a lot of alcohol could also make you some new friends, but your wallet and your health might not have the same opinion as you. In 2019, Eventbrite has calculated the average cost of going out at night, and this average cost was about $80 per night. This cost obviously include the alcohol that you will consume and the food that you will also eat, but it also include the different tips that you will give to the waiter or the waitress, and also the method of transportation that you will use. Let's say that you're using, for example, a Uber with some friends. Also meaning that in 2019, if you decided, for example, to go out each and every single weekend, the 2 days, so Fridays and Saturdays, this would cost you about $64 per month, or more than $7,680 per year. And don't forget that this was before the pandemic, before that the inflation rate raised to about 8%, which means that nowadays this cost should have increased massively. As my father would say, it is still possible to have a lot of fun with moderation. Now talking about something else that has increased massively in the last couple of months, it is the cost of food that has increased of more than 11% year over year between August 2021 and August 2022. And obviously this will have a massive impact on the budget and on the expenses of many different families. You must have already seen this big impact on your grocery when you go grocery shopping, and that you've seen that the eggs and the butter has cost more than 40% of more compared to last year. However, if you thought that going to the restaurant could be a better option for you, well, you are totally wrong.
Oh, crap.
Unfortunately, the restaurants haven't been saved by this big lockdown that we've seen between 2020 and 2022, meaning that they were not able to make as much sales as they were doing before the pandemic. And add to that, you have the super high inflation that also massively impact them because they also need to buy many different ingredients. It means that of course they have been forced to also increase the price of the different foods that they are proposing to you. In fact, as you can see, the price of the foods in the restaurant has massively increased in the last couple of months. But there's also one problem that you have not necessarily calculated, and this problem is named the tip. In fact, nowadays it is expected from you to pay in many different places in North America to pay about 10 to 20% of tips to your waiter or your waitress. I'm not gonna make any kind of debate on should you pay a tip or not and what should it be, but be aware that doing and preparing your own meal preparation is the best option that you can have to save a lot of money on your different food. And once again, just like clubbing, it is about moderation. So you can also go to the restaurant sometimes, but it is to find the right balance. And by doing this could be a great activity for you and your family, for example, to have some good times while cooking some good food. Plus those meals that you will prepare, you will have the full control on it, so you will have only to pay the different ingredients, and at the same time it could be super healthy for you. And another super important money saving tips that you need to understand, especially in those high inflation and high rates time, is that you need to avoid or eliminate all the bad debts that you currently have. With the current Fed rate that is between 3 to 3.25% and that is expected to grow in the upcoming months, it means that all the current debts and all the current different loans that you have will cost you more in the upcoming months as well. For an example, let's say that to buy your first car, you have currently a loan of of about $50,000, which is with a variable rate. It means that as much as the rates will increase, as much interest as you will pay and as less capital that you will pay as well. It means that your current loan will cost you a lot more compared to a few months ago. So make sure that in those current times that you buy everything that you can afford. But on another side, if you decided, for example, to invest in real estate, this could not be considered as a bad debt, because in fact this could be instead considered as an investment. And another money saving tips that could be super interesting to limit the total debt that you currently have would be to put a lower credit limit on your credit card. Knowing that the average interest rate on a credit card is about 20%, it could be pretty useful for everyone that overuse their credit cards to fix a limit and a maximum limit lower than what they currently have. Because at the end of the month, it is super crucial for you to be able to pay your credit card. And to do that, you could just call your credit card issuer and ask him to reduce your maximum limit. Now, another great thing that you could do with the money that you have just saved, especially in those times of high inflation and recession time, it would be to invest, of course, your money, but also to create an emergency fund to help you out with all the different unexpected situations. For example, you should always try to keep a liquidity of about 6 months of your annual income to be able to fight all the different situations that could come to you. If you would lose your job, for example, you would still have a certain part of liquidity to be able to pay all the different expenses that you would have. And one of the best things that you could do also to fight inflation is to invest. Because at the moment, the different markets on the crypto, the stock market, the real estate, etc. is all massively down since the beginning of the year. Those could be some great possibilities that you could have to create a solid wealth base for the future. And as you've been probably able to see in my latest portfolio update, with all the high volatility that we have on the market, it could be some great possibilities and great opportunity for you. Especially if you do have, just like me, some long-term horizon. And to make sure to increase the quality of your habits to save and to invest more money, you could decide to automate both your bills and your savings. So in that case, you would decide, for example, to withdraw automatically from your salary a certain part of it. And obviously, to be able to save up more money, you need to know what are the places where you spend the most money and what are the places where you earn the most money. And to do that, you could do your own budget. In my personal case, I currently don't have any kind of budget because my income is way higher than my expenses. But since I am aiming to buy my first investment properties in the summer of 2023, I will of course make my own budget at that time. But now, just for the hypothesis, I've decided to create my own budget that I would present to you at the moment. As you can see, my budget template is pretty simple because at the same time, the goal of a budget is to be able to track what are your different income versus your expenses and to see what are the different places where you're spending the most money. Of course, in this simulation, I've used many different hypothesis numbers, and I've first started obviously with my income, which just like my expenses will be tracked per year and per month. You have first my financial analyst job, which is my main job. After, you have my second job of pool supervisor. And in the near future, I will also add my business revenue, followed by dividend income and also real estate income. Here, as you can see, we can track my income per year and per month. Of course, if you do have more income sources or different income sources, you can add them to this kind of template. And after, you can just add the different expenses that you have. For example, the mortgage, the taxation that could also be pretty important, the investment savings that you want to aim for, the car, the gas, the subscription, for example, Netflix, the gym, etc., the phone, and also at the end, you can add some other different expenses that you could have. And at the end, you have your total expenses per year and per month. And you have your net income, so the differences between your total income and your total expenses. And finally, I've had some different graph with your income and your expenses reportation. So you'll be able to see what are your main income and expenses sources. And with this simulation, we could see that my financial analyst job would be my main income source. But eventually, for example, if my business income would surpass my financial analyst income, that would mean that this main business income could become eventually my main income. And you can see it's the same for the expenses, and in your case, probably the taxation will probably come as one of your largest expenses. And in my case, it is followed by the different investment savings that I want to have and my personal mortgage. And after, you have all the different other expenses. And guys, hopefully this video will have helped you to see some great tips that could help you to save up more money. But if you're looking for more and to see more money saving tips that could help you to save up more money, even if you don't have any kind of high income, check out the video that's gonna be right over here. And if you're new and that you like personal finance, make sure to join the North family by subscribing to the channel for only $0.0, and I will see you soon. Peace!